It's not. Uh-oh. Is that... Do we get it?
Well, there's a delay. We'll find out in a second.
Mic check. Come on, Schwartz. I'm seeing audio levels now, so I love how Chase is just being... Oh my gosh, this is funny.
Oh, do we
What
get
up,
it?
fam? Okay, there we go. I have no idea what happened. My
Okay,
apologies.
yeah, we have audio now, Chase. You can actually start using your fucking microphone.
In America, seat does not adjust.
Well, so hold on. The Pan America seat doesn't adjust, but the Pan America seat is attached to the bike, correct? And the bike has height adjustment. Thus, the seat has height adjustment.
Oh wait, they don't have my audio. They can't
Wait,
hear
what?
me.
What is this?
Oh,
Oh, there we go. It's back. Okay.
damn it!
There are gremlins.
You have
Hold
no
on.
idea how bad I wanted to play charades for the entire episode.
Okay.
But-
Well, guess what? Since we got the audio, give me 2 seconds. Okay, good enough. We're back. Welcome to Live on Two Wheels, where we have audio all the time, every time.
Definitely, and our internet is great, and everything else that is not.
Oh, well,
At least y'all's
sorry.
AC is working.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, guys, we're gonna watch Pat sweat to death on this live show, so it should be pretty exciting, and I can't wait to watch it with you guys because I have no clue what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's 80 something in my apartment right now.
Hey, Chase.
Hi,
I want
Ghost.
to. I want to use one of your phrases from the old times. Before we get into it, how about one of these?
Housekeeping?
Don't think you're sleeping.
Old school. I
Go
like
back in an
it.
hour.
Housekeeping, you want towels?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping,
This shit
you
gets
want a
escalated so
pillow?
fast.
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
So what's been going on?
Lots.
Moving?
So much for everybody.
Yeah.
That's
I
Um,
just got done moving into a new apartment. I'm still unpacking everything. The wife and I, we sold the house, made a ton of money, and then we're renting for a little while until we find the right house. So we're actually really close to Chase now. We're over in like the Marietta area, which is great.
Congrats on money. Woo!
Yay!
But if you're renting, so you probably have enough money for like what, 3 months rent? The way things are now.
Real estate jokes.
I feel like that's really generous. We're
Well-
day to day over here, my guy.
Awesome.
No, we
Well,
so yeah, Pat's moved. Pat's totally moved now. That's been a fun
month
situation for
long.
like a month.
Clusterfuck.
I am freshly back. I don't know if you guys can tell my beautiful bronzed skin. It's a joke. I just got back from California from the MT09 press launch. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know I was there.
Yep.
Um,
I'm headed
I
out of town
am-
Saturday.
well, I'm not able to say anything about the MT09 until May 8th. So we'll have our press launch video come out then. Until then, I can't tell you all the
maybe we'll save that for next week.
next week's episode. So that's happening. I've got a secret project I'm working on that I told Ghost about recently, and that's been taking up a lot of my time, but I can't say anything more about it. Ghost, are you excited about my secret project?
I can't say anything about it.
Is it M squared? Is it that project?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that project.
Squared.
Squared's a cool
It's
project.
been taking so much of my time, but it's
You
gonna
all
be
of it?
worth it. I promise. I don't promise. I'm doing everything I can to make it awesome. And whether it is or not, it will be up to you guys. But it will come out at some point. And Ghost is part of it. So woohoo. Yay.
Super pumped on that. I'm
Um,
headed to the
yeah.
Honda True Adventure tour on the West Coast on Saturday. Super
The,
excited about that.
the True Adventure
That's
Tour?
going to be gone for like 5 days.
Yeah, I fly out Saturday. I am riding with hold on, let me pull it up.
Dork in the road.
I'm riding with Dork, I'm riding with Amanda from As the Magpie Flies, and then a Canadian person, I don't know who.
Hey.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's
We're having
see.
a
Hold
good
on.
time here, aren't we?
That's pretty cool. So, like, is it you're using
So we
Africa
fly
Twins and stuff?
into yeah, Africa Twins and Transops. We fly into Seattle on Saturday, and then we are riding over the next 4 days to Eureka, California.
Eureka!
Eureka!
You
Yeah,
don't
we're
smell so good
riding.
yourself.
We're riding almost. I mean, I want to say it's like 800 miles, give or take. No,
That's it?
it's
In
like
5 days? You might as well walk it.
right. The first day is like 250 or 240 miles. Day 2 and 3 are both like 150, and day 4 is like nearly 300.
Will you be doing like some off-road stuff though?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that makes the miles seem a lot more.
Yeah, and it's led by 11-time Baja 1000 winner Johnny Campbell, which is going to be a wild and crazy adventure. So, going to be a
Dude, I
ton
like
of
all these
fun.
companies bringing out their race people to do shit. Because Yamaha had Josh Hayes, I believe, is who it was, at the MT09 launch. So I love riding around all these professionals that are like, "Hey, you're not shit," and I'm like, "Cool, I thought so, but I just wanted to double check."
You're not shit.
And
Yeah,
also
I
fun news.
know. You don't have to tell me.
Look, guys, look what I got.
Ah, the X4.
Review time, baby. It's currently in review, so I can't say anything right now, but so far, very promising. I already like the X3. This thing is dope, and I used this in the MT09, the whole press launch, and woo-wee, look at that shine. Ooh-wee.
I would imagine, and maybe you can't say this, but being that it's an 8K, it allows you to kind of zoom into stuff more and still get a 4K kind
That,
of
but
render out.
plus, yeah. So, so far I haven't rendered anything out. I've just used the Insta360 app, and it's downsampled everything, so it can run well. And the footage looks good downsampled, so I can't wait to render something out and be like, God, dang.
Nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to making that exact response whenever I see a video with it edited together.
Yeah, but
Yeah, hanging
All
out
right,
with all
boys.
those Insta360 people at Moto America. You got some connections now, don't
Yeah,
you?
shout out to Insta360. They had us out at Moto America. We had a good time. Got to
Awesome.
we had
chat
a
with
great
Ghost.
time.
It was
in America.
fantastic.
Yeah, hung out with Ghost. Got to see Spectre for a couple days. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Sad.
you were
Yeah.
gone that day.
Yeah,
I was working my real job.
but no, it was good. It's a good time.
What
Had a
is
lot of
that?
fun, and
Is that a crazy frog?
it's a Bulbasaur.
Oh my god, Bulba. No, this is my AirPod case.
Oh,
Huh.
hold on, guys.
Okay, bye, Pat. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, check it out. It's
he,
just a
he
little
just quit.
Bulbasaur.
Nice. All
This
right.
is a
Well,
product demo now. Well, now that Pat's gone, we can talk about the real subject, Ghost.
yeah. Well, so today we thought we'd take a little stroll down talking about Kawasaki's new parallel twin engine and kind of how they're using it and, what bikes it's in. We'll kind of probably focus mostly on the Ninja 500 and what are some comparable bikes to that and things. But maybe before we do all that, how about we check out a few moto photos?
I'm down with that. Before we get into the topic, I do want everybody to
Yes.
understand that I have not researched anything with the Ninja 500, and the only thing I know about it is comments that people have been making. So, like asking me questions, because obviously we're doing the giveaway on the 450 SS from CF Moto, so it's like a similar-ish. So I haven't seen comments come through. So I'm actually excited for today's episode, so I know the fuck. So that'll be
Well, that'll be cool because then maybe we can kind of pick your brain about what are you hearing, what's kind of your expectations or preconceived ideas, and then we can kind of break each of that down.
Yeah,
But
well, let's before we get we'll do the moto photos and then we'll do kind of where my head's at with what people have been saying, and that'll kind of give us a
yeah,
baseline maybe.
yeah.
Okay, so let me share my screen and we'll do moto photo because it's time to show the photos of your motos. 1 second, boys. What screen?
We're working.
It's that one. We're going live. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Moto Photo, the place where we post photos of your motos. What the hell is this?
That is a 2023 GSX S750Z.
Bro, this is sick. I normally think these look like shit. This one does not. Holy crap.
Oh, what?
You
You
guys don't
started
know.
Moto Photo without me? I'll just go fuck
Hey,
myself. It's
look,
fine.
man, you left us. You left us. We had no chance or choice.
Yeah.
So guys, we have a Discord channel. Links in the description if you want to join it. It's totally free. It's an awesome place for people that like motorcycles. We have a moto photo section. Post photos there, and we will post or show them off here. Discord user. I'm so sorry. Kai Hunsho. Kai Hunsho.
Don't be
Oh, God.
That's what we're
racist.
going with. That's what we're going with. Most definitely the coolest looking GSX S750Z that I've seen. Didn't even know this was a thing. But I don't typically like the way the Gixxers look. I think the seat's a little too big, but this thing looks awesome. Shout out to you, sir, or madam. Congratulations on having a sick bike. Moving along. Oh snap! Squatted up. We got a fast group here, boys. What do we got? Honda Fireblade, ZX10. We got a ZX6R. We got a S1000 RR, and we have a MT09. Woo! That MT09 dude's gonna get left. Oh, if these guys go to the highway, but if they go to the mountains, they're gonna have a great time.
Yep.
Hey, we got a thing. Could you get a AX4RR forest ride?
What is that in English?
Could we get a AX4RR forest ride? Now, this
You mean
is
a
not.
ZX?
No, so Hobbit is definitely not asking if we could get a ZX4RR Kawasaki first ride. He's specifically asking if we could get an AX4RR forest ride. Hobbit,
KOS.
we don't currently have a forest ride route, but that's a great idea, and we will look into that in the future because I do think that's a beautiful idea, especially in the summertime. Way less heat because of all the trees. Thank you for that idea. Moving right along, oh my god, I ruined it. Moving right along, we have the next one, user NRRE, aka Rich, with a ZX4, little Ninja 400. That windscreen
Yeah.
it reminds me of a Pokemon card, and I'm really here for it. I love that. Also, it's a sick looking bike. This is a good photo too. Who, if they took it, shout out to them. Moving right along the channel. All right, guys. Thank you guys for submitting your moto photos. We always appreciate them, and I love looking at them. You. Okay, we did it, boys. We did moto photo.
Hey, there we go.
Be proud. Be proud.
Yeah,
Stay
buddy.
alive. Stop streaming. Boom. All right, Ghost. It's handed back to you, my friend.
All right, real quick, but before we get into it, just want to give one more plug for the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride coming up May
Wait,
19th.
Ghost, before you continue, hold on. Pause.
Okay. He's got to get.
No,
a
keep
hat. I'm
going.
sure.
Y'all didn't pause for me.
Promote it without. Okay,
Well,
go.
What? Before we get into it, I just want to give a plug for the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride coming up May 19th. You should see a little link in the little QR code on your screen, but also we can post a link here in the chat. But we have our team OnTwoWheels. That's
Team
several
on
of
two.
us.
Team on two. Woo,
That you can donate to and support, unless you're doing it yourself, then support yourself.
No,
But,
only support us. You have to live through us, guys. Come on.
Okay, so that's my plug. All right, let's get to the topic at hand about what Kawasaki's doing. And so there's a little topic I want to go ahead and take care of now because it's the big thing that people are agitated about. And so let's get it out so it doesn't derail us later, because we'll have
We
plenty of other
love
things that'll
agitated
derail
people,
us.
Ghost. We love it.
They're calling it the Ninja 500 and the Z500, but the engine is a 451. So,
What? What the fuck is that?
so yes, that's most of the things that I hear is like people don't care what the engine actually is or anything. It's just like it's not named the right thing. So, on that note, how much does that bother you, or is it funny, etc., etc.? Is there a certain range that is acceptable to be close enough? And discuss. Chase, what do you think?
I love the fact that these dudes are over here being like, what's the engine size? 451. Well, mathematically, that's closer to 500 than 400, so let's round all the fucking way up.
He ain't lying.
Meanwhile, KTM's over here with like, what's the new Super Duke app? 399 or some shit. Let's go with like
1399?
fucking 390. Like,
Oh,
that is not a rounding error. And also that there are 450s in the market.
Yeah.
Just call it a 450. It's okay. It's okay.
So would you say this is like it's just kind of an annoying thing, or do you think it is like actually a negative, misleading number to the consumers?
I think it's a terrible, misleading number because here's the way you go. If you're gonna play the rounding game, this is what both directions tell you.
Hmm.
If you round up, you are trying hard to be something that you're not. If you round down, you have so much confidence you don't give a fuck. So that's what I'm saying.
So I did have a theory. Being a Kawasaki rider myself, my
Ooh,
Versus
this is getting close
1000.
to home. I don't know if we can trust you.
Well, no, listen. Hear me out.
Okay.
The Versus
You got me
1000,
heated over here, Ghost.
the Ninja 1000 is actually a 1043.
You cannot
hold
borrow.
hold on. Then the Z900 is actually a 948. Okay, but I get it. Overshooting it and kind of going down, not a big deal.
Ghost
What
is
do you
over here pulling all the CCs of all the bikes.
Well,
You're
just
like, hey,
you
if we
throw
add
it
all
in a
these
pot.
up.
You throw it in a pot. But what about like Honda's 500 lineup is a 471. That's closer to 450 than it is 500, but it usually doesn't get that same
even
flack.
honestly though, even that is
You
borderline annoying, but I think that's close enough to write it off because there's not
Mhm.
a 475. If
Well,
there were
so-
other bikes, I don't know. The market already shows that people will respond to a 450. So,
Mhm.
also, what's the problem with just calling it a 400? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just fucking do that and be like, oh man, the 400 is so much faster than the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Because
a great
people
tagline.
would rather have a 500 than a 400 from like
Yeah.
a med.
Yeah, but people also think a
So-
650 is faster than a 600. People are fucking dumb.
500. No, people
So,
are
like-
absolutely idiotic. That being said, the Super Tenere is classified as a 1200. It is 1199 cc's.
Yeah, that's fine. It is.
Yeah.
Like that's a mathematical calculation error.
Yeah.
Number, like within range. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying as shit. So all the comments I've seen is what you just said, Ghost. It's the people. I didn't know the number. I thought it
Mhm.
was like 480, 485, and people were mad because they called it a 500, and it wasn't close enough. Like within 5 to 10 cc's. I didn't know it was a fucking 451.
Yeah. Well, it's a
Like-
whole ruckus engine away from it. So
To give it relative
So-
terms
I know.
that the audience can
Here's-
understand.
I think it is also kind of just that's a bit too far off. But I did try to think of what would be the reason for that. Like what's going through Kawasaki's marketing. And
Right.
here's a couple thoughts I had. One is the Ninja 500 name was out there before. Maybe that's kind of a legacy thing that they want to keep doing. Maybe 500 rolls off the tongue better, whatever. I also think it's been influenced by CF Moto's 450 line that came out. As we know, like some OEMs can be working on these engines for a couple of years before we even hear about it. So they're probably thinking, we're going to make this the Ninja 450 or whatever. And then here comes CF Moto onto the market with the 450 SS. And Kawasaki doesn't want to look like, oh, well, we're following up with the, lower cost brand. We don't want to follow them or look like we're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe there's some of that to try to separate themselves and not look like they were following them, because I mean Kawasaki has kind of marched to the beat of its own drum. It's out there making hydrogen bikes and whatever now. So that's my
true.
theory. So I'm not
I mean,
trying to excuse it, but to explain
right.
it maybe.
Speaking of it like that, it makes me feel like this is based on what I hear in the industry stuff, not necessarily comments from YouTube people and stuff like that, but I honestly think that the industry is really worried about CF Moto, like OEMs, and I would be willing to bet that what happened was Kawasaki's coming out with their next Ninja, the low CC Ninja, and if they call it a Ninja 450, it will then be directly associated with the 450 SS and be compared to those bikes will be compared. Then the numbers are going to make that bike look worse because you're going to get very comparable numbers from the 450 SS from CF Moto, and then you're going to have the price difference, which I imagine is the CF Moto will be less. So consumers that are price driven will go for the CF Moto instead of the Kawasaki, especially because that market is brand new and they don't necessarily know that CF Moto is a relatively new brand. Obviously,
Right.
we know that they're not a new brand. They've been around for a long time. But if somebody's new,
30,
they're
they're in their 36th year.
right.
They've been
So they
around
don't look
Yeah.
at
a
CF
long
Moto and Kawasaki as like an experienced rider that's like, oh wow, CF Moto is new in the market and it's interesting to watch what's happening. They're just like, well, I just want to start on a bike and these two are similar, but this one costs less, so I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
I would imagine they wanted to just be like, we'll be the 500, and then that way our number's bigger than the other guy.
So a little bit later on, we are going to compare the other 500 450s with like Honda's 500 and the CF Moto. We'll look at it
Oh,
side by side with the
fantastic.
Ninja later on in the show. So we'll actually start breaking down the numbers.
That I am
So
super curious about and to see how wrong I was.
so to kind of wrap up this little thing, yes, there's been kind of a lot of noise and venting and whatever you want to call it about the discrepancy in the numbers, but no matter what, the engine is the engine, and we're going to look at what it does. So
We are moving on, accepting the
yeah.
fact that Kawasaki, for whatever reason, decided to call a 451cc bike a 500. Noted. Moving on.
Again, I'm sure they have their reasons, but that doesn't mean it's right. So anyway,
Kawasaki,
so
if you would like to come on this show and tell people yourself,
I would
don't
love
worry
to
about
get
it
an
'cause nobody's
OEM
gonna do
person on
that.
here. That'd be awesome.
Bro,
So
Kawasaki brothers, no shot. They won't even.
uh,
They're not
well,
even sending us press launches, my guy.
I know, like I said, they march the beat of their own drum, and so anyway,
Well,
so to talk about the engine itself, just real quick about what it is. They took the existing 400, which is 399 cc's if we're talking the actual cc's, um, and they kept the same like physical dimensions of the engine. They just
Okay.
increased the stroke from 51.8 centimeters to 58.6 centimeters. And so that squeezed out the 52 additional cc's. So they
Okay.
were able to keep the rough, form factor so that they could still put it in the same frame of, the Ninja and the Z and everything else.
Right.
What that actually does for the engine characteristics is the horsepower is roughly the same. Like the difference is probably negligible, and depending upon what dyno you put it on, there is a little
you're
bit.
talking peak horsepower is roughly the same. How it's delivered, I believe, is very different.
Well, yes, the peak torque is a little bit different, but a difference in this engine is you are going to hit that peak power and torque earlier in the rev range, which tells me that it's a little bit more of usable power for everyday riding.
Yeah, I mean the 400 Ninja was already like a great bike. Like
Yeah.
like they already had like it was the starter bike, you know, for a lot of people, and it was also like it's a good racing platform if you wanted a low CC bike. So like giving more torque down low, especially for like the city type of stuff, is going to be fantastic. And getting off the line quickly, like all good moves, and it's fantastic that the engine's going to stay the same size externally because any
Yeah.
outside mods on the engine, all those aftermarket companies are going to still be able to offer the same product to, you know, a new engine and all. Like
Yeah.
there's lots of pros to that. So
There
good.
was, there was a little bit of styling changes with the bike as well. So the Ninja 500 will look more like its big brothers rather than looking like the small bike. I think you can see some subtle changes in that. Let's go back. There was a couple super chats.
Yep, I was about to say
Uh,
that.
yeah, Pat, why don't you take those?
So a couple super chats. Obviously the one from the old Hobbit asking about an AX4RR Forest Ride. We already talked about that one. Andy Goonie gained a ZX4RR connection. If you need a first ride, hit him up. I know me and him talked about that.
Oh.
Nijirdi has been a member for 13 months. Ooh, got that red helmet, dog.
Oh yeah, we got red helmets in here now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We appreciate the
all-
support, guys. That's
Nijirdi, Andy.
absolutely fantastic.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate it, gang. It is
So-
huge.
Large. So,
Large.
so this
God.
this what?
My internet's so bad.
Yeah, it is. Anyway,
It's so
Hey,
bad.
I mean, it's been me a couple times, so it's I don't know. I don't know what to say with that, but so where is this engine being used? It kind of first came out, I think.
In a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, the end. Great show.
All right, guys, that's it for us. See you next week.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I think it first came out in the Eliminator, which came out tail end of last year, which is like their new cruiser like
Yeah, it's their like
cruiser type of
their
thing.
rebel fighter.
Rebel fighter and kind of a little Vulcan maybe.
Yeah,
But-
baby
Is
Volt.
this the Eliminator that you guys are talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it came out with that. We're obviously talking about the Ninja 500 and Z500, and it is also the engine that is in the new hybrids from Kawasaki. So they couple the 451cc with the electric motor,
Oh,
and then those hybrids they
okay.
call the Ninja 7 and the Z7 because it's a roughly 700-ish power.
Okay.
Which I think we'll save the hybrids for the end of the show, or that may be another show depending upon how far we go.
Yeah, for sure. That would be an interesting like segue into that. But yeah, we'll see where we're at later in. So the same engine in the Ninja 500 is in the Eliminator then. That's
Yeah.
I mean the exact same engine in the hybrid as well, but like that's got the electric and everything. But that's pretty cool. So that's a parallel twin with low torque, like that's or low down torque. That'll be nice in a
Mhm.
cruiser platform. So that makes it kind of makes sense where they're trying to put the power out of that engine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's take a look. Chase, if you want to go to share your screen again,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got something over here, so we can we'll start with the top two photos there before we go way down into the other stuff.
Okay.
So let me. So really, we're just kind of seeing them side by side here. It's really hard to see the differences here, but there is a
Yeah,
little
it's
change in the.
mostly right up there in that headlight. It looks so good on them.
Yeah.
This bike looks so much closer to the ZX6R and the ZX10. Specifically in these like little aggressive headlight cowl light things. That's really where I see the majority. It was kind of hard with this bike being white,
Yeah.
but the black one actually helps you see the lines a little better. And yeah, it mostly looks like a little bit of detailing here in the body fairing, and then seats a little different. You can see this one's a little less angly than this one here, but that headlight I think is the kind of prominent figure on, like if you're talking about the Ninja body language as far as like ZX's, the ZX line, that headlight is what kind of looks universal from all the bikes. So that's a really good step. We've talked a lot in the past, and I've talked a lot on the channel where I really appreciate when a company's line all looks the same, whether it be the ZX line, the Ninja line, the R line from Yamaha, or the MT line. I love it when they all look the same. So this is awesome. to
Brand
see that they're,
identity is
like,
good.
double down.
Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and go to the next photo, we maybe see a little bit more detail in a couple of the images here. Now, I have to give the disclaimer because these horsepower and torque numbers, they're all over the place with the new bikes that come out because of what's
Right.
claimed or who's tested. So this is in the ballpark. But here's the key thing that I want y'all to focus on. Look at that bottom number on both sides, the MSRP.
Interesting.
It is the same cost.
So I assume they're getting rid of the 400 then.
Yeah, I think right now it's still on the website as the 2023 Ninja 400, and there's the 2024 Ninja 500.
So there's not
Okay,
currently
yeah.
on their
So
side a
there's
2024 400?
no. So they're definitely. I mean, it's the same bike, like virtually. I mean, the
So
tank
they-
is the
I mean,
same.
They literally are just changing a couple of the fairings, maybe a couple of internal things. It's the updated engine, and they're keeping the price the same.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. I mean, it's kind of expected at this point. If a bike doesn't have major updates to it, you can't really change the price. And this is a bike area where cost is very important. You are talking
Mhm.
about people that are brand new to riding. There is not any wiggle room for you to be like, let's charge an extra 500. And this is from a company who has the more expensive of the competitor.
Yeah.
So I
So,
don't know. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes even with models that don't even have any upgrades, major or minor, from one year to the next, sometimes you'll see a $100 or $200 increase just because of the
Yeah.
world.
Right.
Market
I-
increase or an inflation increase.
I mean, even if this went up, maybe $200 or $300, I wouldn't balk at that because it'd be like, okay. But the fact that it's still the same is like, okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy about that, but I mean, you're talking about a market of customers where $200 or $300 is a chunk of change. You know what I mean? Like, if
Mhm.
you're like, think about a guy probably in high school or college, and he has a shitty ass job where he might make like $50 a day or less. He's gonna have to work an extra week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before he can buy a bike if he was saving up for that motorcycle. And I mean, that's 2 or 3 weeks that man's going to be looking at every bike he can afford during that time. You know what I mean? And making a different decision. So, I think we should look at price as a percentage of the overall cost of the motorcycle. And a $300 increase is like a 5% jump in price. So, I think you have to take that into account because, like, yeah, if it was like a Super Duke or a fucking Ducati, $200 would literally be it costs the same. You know
It's
what I mean?
spitting in the
$500
ocean at that
literally.
point.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you're talking these little bikes where money's a big deal. I don't think Kawasaki had an option to charge more because I think
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean it's the same thing with the engine discussion we had. I think these guys are realizing that their market share is going away rather faster than they expected, and they're having to get like real serious about shit. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean,
That's
they're
awesome for the market though.
yeah, I mean, their cost of production wouldn't go up too much because, again, the physical form of the engine is still the same. They just, made the stroke a little longer. So,
If anything, I feel like with them getting rid of the Ninja 400 in engine, and they've already had the 500 out. If anything, they're reducing costs. Like they can basically cancel a whole engine from production.
Wait, boys, hold on.
And it's going to save them a ton of money.
Everybody look under the Ninja logo. Is that a fucking built-in slider on the stock bike?
That's not the stock bike. That's like the special edition.
If
So-
they put sliders on this bike from the factory,
Not on the base model. No. I did grab the pretty looking one because it just stood out more.
Okay.
But
I mean, all I'm saying is the only bike I've ever seen shipped from factory with sliders on the side is the CF Moto 450 SS. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry. I just looked at the chat and Small Bore made a really funny comment.
Small bore.
Anyway.
Anyway, moving on from strokes and folks.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really cool that they kept the price the same. I think it still makes it, very much kind of like it's not changing a whole lot. It's just a slight internal improvement, and there you go.
Hey, you get 13% more torque, so that's awesome for the same price.
Okay, so do you want to go ahead and start comparing it to other bikes?
Yeah, let's break it down.
Okay,
Yeah, let's get all the info out, and then we can just have a general discussion about all the info and jump back and forth if we need. So,
all right,
next
so go
up,
ahead and scroll next. It's just kind of right there. Okay, so these are the two bikes we're going to focus on because those are the ones in the ballpark. So, how do you think they're going to compare to the Honda CBR 500 and the CF Moto 450 SS as far as like power, price, and everything?
So I'm assuming this based on I'm gonna have to randomly guess the numbers because I don't even know what the numbers on the 450 SS are.
Sure.
I would assume that given the torque bump, it's probably slightly under the Honda because the Honda 500 has a lot. It feels torquey, and if I remember correctly, it's a single, which typically has more torque. I could be wrong about that, but I would imagine that Kawasaki was very particular in making sure that their power numbers were similar, if not better, than the 450 SS. So I wouldn't be surprised if the horsepower and the torque were 1 or 2 more than the 450 SS, because I feel like that's the target that they had on. And I would bet the horsepower is a little under or a little over the Honda, and the torque is a little under. That's my guess. Totally random. Don't know the numbers. But
Yeah.
Pat, what about you, Blurry Boy?
Sir Blur's a lot over here. I'd be willing to bet. I think the CF Moto makes like 45 or 47 horsepower.
Good talk.
I don't know what it weighs, but I'm sure that it's cheaper. And I'm, personally, that the CBR 500R is an older platform now. I don't know the last time they updated that bike, so I would expect that Honda is going to respond with an update soon. So I don't know. I think I'm going to agree with Frank here and go.
Awesome. Ghost, this is typically where I would ask for your opinion, but being that you put all the information together, you're a biased party. So,
okay.
Which one's going to be the first one we look at?
So we'll look at the Honda first. It's the next photo. So let's go ahead and check that one out.
Boom. Honda. Oh, dude, no shot.
Go. Let's go take it line by line. So.
Okay. We are talking about. Okay, so I was wrong. It was a parallel twin in the Honda. Honda has a 471cc parallel twin compared to a 451cc parallel twin from the Ninja 500. On the Honda side, we have 47 horsepower. On the Ninja side, we have 51 horsepower. That is an 8% bump. On the CBR, we have, or CBR, 500, we have 31.8 foot-pounds of torque. And on the Ninja, we have 31.7 foot-pounds of torque. negligible difference there.
Hmm.
Then we have the weight, which is a very big difference. We have a 423-pound weight for the Honda and a 370.4-pound weight for the Ninja. That's a difference of the Ninja being less than 12% the weight of the Honda. That is a significant number. And finally, we have the price, and holy goodness gracious.
Hmm.
The Honda is $7,399, which comes with ABS standard dual disc in the front, whereas the
And I
Ninja
think
comes in at $5,299. That is a 28% difference.
Hmm.
Wow.
what
Weight
suspension
and
is on the
holy
Cowie?
crap. Basic AF is what it looks like.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Because
but
let me look at the Honda. The Honda's got like upside down front forks.
I think it's like
Uh,
Showa on the Honda. So there's
or no,
Yeah.
I'm
probably
sorry. The 24 Honda is updated actually slightly.
okay. So I mean, the Honda is going to have a little bit more upscale parts here and there.
Yeah,
Right.
Like ABS standard things like that.
Nissan front brakes, Michelin tires. It looks like.
Yeah. So the
But that
question is
weight is shocking.
now that weight has been the number one complaint that I've seen on forums and everything about the 500R is that it's heavier than it needs to be.
Yeah, but
Um,
like, dude, as somebody that like when I rode the 500 and the 650 that
Ooh.
they have, Honda's like that little middle range from Honda, they ride so freaking well. Like
mhm.
I was shocked when
Okay.
I rode them because I was like, bro, because I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen, the videos on Hondas. Typically, they're uninspiring and a little boring, but they're a safe bet. But
They run
those
forever.
two, yeah, they run forever. But when I rode the 500 and the 650, both of those CBRs, I think that's what they call them. They were fantastic. I am very much here for those, and I'm kind of over here like, damn, that is a lot more expensive for the Honda, but the weight is more of a shocker than anything to me, honestly.
Mhm.
So
Damn.
they both have ABS, or can the Honda has it standard. You can get it on the Cowie. They
Mhm.
Sweet.
both have a slipper clutch. The Honda has traction control, which is neat. The
Okay.
Honda's a 6-speed. I don't know what the Cowie is.
It's a
6. Yeah.
6.
Let's. Is it a 6?
Yep.
Yeah. The
Okay.
Honda's the only company doing 5 speeds, my guy.
The
No, the Honda's a
KLR.
6.
Really?
Hmm.
Holy shit.
That's why I asked. And I know
Okay,
that the Honda
so
is Showa suspension as well. So I think agreed. Like the Honda's definitely got better running gear, but the weight, I agree, is definitely a problem.
Mhm.
so I was pretty close on numbers for the Honda. I thought the torque
Yeah.
I thought the Honda would have a little more torque, not like negligible amounts.
Yeah.
Um, but
And
that
the
wasn't too
Honda
bad.
has
Wait for
Honda's
this.
Yeah.
almost a full gallon more on fuel tank size, 4.5 to 3.7. So that's
Yeah.
gonna make up
Interesting.
a little bit of that weight too. But
That's fair. So
Mhm.
Ghost is the 450 next.
Yeah. So before we leave this, though, okay, we know that the price is going to be a big factor, especially if you're kind of looking at a beginner budget bike. The 500R, the CBR may be kind of ruled out. But if money's not an issue, which one are you picking?
the Honda. If
Ooh.
they were the same price, or even if even if the Cowie was more expensive, I'd still buy the Honda.
Hmm.
Um,
Like at their price point, I'd buy the Honda. I think the Honda's got better the dual Nissan brakes, the traction control, and the very very good Showa suspension. That's sold. I really like the Honda.
Pat, you're leaving
um,
us in suspense so much. I love it.
yeah. If I was to go between these two at these price points and everything, I do like the look of the Honda more. I don't love that the price is $2,000 more, but I think I would appreciate the suspension the suspension over time, and I know how that thing rides, and weight never
Am I
came to
breaking
my
up that
mind
bad?
of like, man, this bike feels heavy. So I would go with the Honda, and it's a Honda, so like you ain't got to worry about it unless it's a CBR 600 or a 1000 or a 300, and you want to rebuild them. But other than
Yeah.
that, yeah, I'd go the CBR 500R.
Yeah.
What about you,
Interesting.
Ghost?
I
Oh
don't know.
my god.
What?
Sorry.
Well, that came through just fine.
Yeah, I guess I've been breaking up. Chase, do you see that on Discord?
Oh, wait, you see? Wait, what are you talking about?
C2W Media Chat. Sorry, everybody.
Oh. Anyway. So in the chat, if y'all want to say which one would you pick between these two, I'm kind of torn because I think if you're wanting something kind of lightweight, beginner friendly, cost efficient, you got to go with the Ninja. But if you're an
Yeah,
experienced rider that wants something that's more comfortable but not overwhelming, then the CBR is the choice. So,
I
but if
feel
it
like
were
that's a
me,
good point. Yeah,
yeah,
if you're a beginner rider, yeah, you're gonna between those two only, you're definitely gonna go with the Ninja because like
yeah,
$2,000, bro, that's night and day time difference in price. What are you gonna say, Gus? I mean to interrupt you.
no, just that like I could see a seasoned rider wanting to lean to the Honda as
Right.
well, but I don't think either one is a bad choice.
Definitely not. No, like I
It's hard
said,
to
the
find a
400
bad
was a
motor.
great bike,
Yeah, it's hard to find a bad motorcycle these days. So,
bro. Right?
I
We
mean,
are in
it's
such a good age of motorcycling. It's fantastic.
yeah. So, any other final thoughts on the Honda comparison before we go to the 450 SS?
Um,
I
I
will
don't
I
think
will
so.
say I don't know how much I've been breaking up or I was just breaking up, but the Cowie with AB.
I don't know how much I've been breaking up lately, but the main point that I wanted to say, and I'll just end on this, is that's great.
Like Pat, I really don't know if you're holding still or if you're literally frozen. But so, sorry.
That's the timing is comedic genius with his internet, and it's fantastic. I think it
But
adds entirely to the comedy of the show.
yeah, I feel for him though because I've been there. So, um, all right. Well, nothing else then. I guess
All right,
you
Pat,
can.
you have anything else to add? No? Oh, okay, we're just gonna move on.
Who gives a shit?
Okay, cool. Guys, it seems like Pat's cool with it. So we're going to move on to. So the next one is going to compare the CF Moto 450 SS to the Ninja 500, I assume.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm fascinated with this. Wrong chat. And
Boom.
wow. No fucking shot.
So yeah, give that the rundown there.
Nice job, boys. All right, let's break it down for what it is. All right, so we are comparing the 2024 450 SS from CF Moto and the 2024 Kawasaki Ninja 500. And engine-wise, 449cc parallel twin in the CF Moto compared to a 451cc parallel twin in the Ninja. Horsepower, we have 50 on the CF Moto. We have 51 horsepower with the Ninja. That's a 2% increase. Next, torque, we have 28.8 foot-pounds of torque on the 450 SS compared to 31.7 foot-pounds of torque on the Ninja. That is a 10% difference. Next up, we have weight. 370 pounds for the CF Moto, 374.4 pounds on the Ninja. That is a negligible change. And the biggest is
Hello?
the price. What up, Pat? The biggest
Hi.
thing is the price, and on the CF Moto, the price is $5,699, and that's the model that comes with ABS as standard with a Brembo front disc. And the price for the Ninja is $5,299, an 8% difference, or $400 cheaper for
Hold
the
on.
Kawasaki compared to the
Hold on.
450 SS.
To be
Wow.
entirely fair, The Cowie with ABS is $56.99.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
It's the exact same price. That being said, I just looked it up. The Brembo M40 calipers that the CF Moto have are $700, not including the fact that it's also got a bigger rotor. So to put the same brakes on the Cowie that the CF Moto has, you're going to spend about $1,000.
So we were not even going to get into that. So pound for pound with the same standard ABS, we're talking about the exact same price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So really what we're looking at then is a CF Moto versus a Ninja with, I mean, let's all be honest, 1 horsepower, it's the same horsepower. It's
Yeah.
the exact same. You will not feel a difference. You will feel a more difference in power with a different style engine than 1 horsepower. The torque, though, could be enough for you
Yeah.
to see a difference, but I would imagine the majority of people that ride both of these bikes will not be able to tell a major difference in the torque, depending on how the power curve is. Because, like, I mean, they're both parallel twins, so I imagine it's relatively similar. But, you know, you put one exhaust on one of these bikes and it's going to change. It's going to bump it above the next one. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
They're so close. I mean, it's almost like because you add ABS to the Ninja, it's almost spec for spec.
Yeah, I think the big thing is if we talk, we're talking about throwing exhaust on it and it's going to change it drastically. For the money that it's going to take to get the Ninja to be, again, I'm going to go back to talking about the brakes, to put the same brakes on the Ninja that the CF has, you could put a slip-on the CF and then make more power.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
I mean,
even price-wise, and the only reason I say that is, like, if we're going to compare bike to bike, you try to get them to the close enough on their equipment. The CF Moto is a better value for money, and it's gonna make more power given the same amount of money.
Well, so if we're going to be real honest about it, what your 2 options are is you have the CF Moto, but the negatives are the 450SS has just not been in the market very long. It's been out for 1 year, maybe 2 years.
It's been out internationally, I think, for 2 or 3.
Yeah, so nobody has had like the physical amount of time to just really, not even one person, but it hasn't been in the market long enough for a wide set of people to buy this motorcycle and all put enough miles on them to see a big enough user group to how the bike is going to perform. Has ours performed well? Absolutely. Has it skipped a beat? Absolutely not. It's been a fantastic bike, but I only have 1 motorcycle.
Correct.
I've seen the comments say a lot of good stuff about the 450SS, so if we're to believe those people, then it is a reliable thing. But CF Moto in this space is relatively new. So Kawasaki has that going for them. They have slightly more torque, and that's it. Same price. Same price, less brakes, honestly.
And honestly, like
Yeah.
2 torque, less
Oh,
than
and the
2
suspension.
torque.
The
Doesn't
suspension
matter.
is a upside down front fork on the CF Moto, and it's a right side up fork, which means the front wheel is going to have way less sprung weight on the CF Moto. That's interesting. Those numbers are eerily similar. I mean, literally down to
They're basically
the
the same
weight
bike.
and the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's essentially the same machine.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
So this makes me feel even more like what I was talking about in the earlier part of the show, Ghost, where I literally feel like they modified their Ninja 400, which, like I said, is a great bike. Like, it was, most people preferred that over the R3. I liked the R3's body position a little more, but, a lot of people chose the Ninja 400 over the R3, which was its major competitor back then. But this is really making me feel like Kawasaki saw the 450SS come out and we're like, okay, cool. that's our baseline that we have to hit. Like, we need to do whatever we need to do. They modified their 300 or their 400 engine enough to squeak out enough power, to match it. Call it a 500 because its number is bigger than the other one, and offer the exact same ABS model to match price with the 400. So they're resting right now, it feels like, on their name, because the suspension's not going to be as good, the brakes are not going to be as good, and you're giving people a marginal amount of torque increase.
How much do you think the Kawasaki name is going to carry it more? Because, I mean, honestly, Kawasaki is the bigger name here still.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
but-
Kawasaki's name would trump the CF Moto name quickly, but I mean,
and I think when you have people in the beginner space too, they're not going to go into the weeds as much as we are right here.
aren't as big of a deal in that area, and I think that's why they're pushing numbers like this, because your name doesn't really matter until you're talking like mid-level and up. Because in this early stage, like we all know for a fact, like a lot, and I'm not saying every, but a lot of beginner riders are like, what does that bike look like, and how much does it cost? Those are those are major purchasing factors. Or what features does the bike come with? You know what I mean? Dude, when I remember the first video we made with the 450 SS, and I showed people that little LED turn-on sequence that the headlights do. People were freaking out. As a rider, that doesn't mean jack shit.
Right.
Like, cool, your LEDs do this.
It's marketing. It's
Yeah, but that's a huge deal, and that was one of the things that people really attached to in the comments. So, like, I really don't think people that are unknowledgeable of the motorcycle space give a single shit about Kawasaki and what their name brings.
Was
but
that's
kind of
Heather
crazy,
clanging
right?
around in the background?
No, Oreos down here.
Okay.
But what's really interesting though is you have a space with new riders who don't know your name, right? This is one of the reasons Triumph is doing their 400s, because if you give somebody a very good experience on your model and your brand early on, the odds of you hooking them up and sending them in all the way up through your product line is the whole reason that Kawasaki and Yamaha and Triumph are making bikes where the 400 is very similar to the next up, and next up, because what they want you to do is the perfect case for a Yamaha. You literally buy their MT-03 to start. You then ride for a year, get their MT-07. Want more power? MT-09. Want more riding ability? MT-09 SP. Want more power again? MT-10. Want more riding ability? MT-10 SP. That is their
And then you get old enough and you buy the greatest bike ever built, the Super Tenere.
That is Yamaha's like home run hit. If you get in and want a naked. So I do find it fascinating that like the beginner bike space is the biggest space as far as like how many people there are, right? Because we that space has an influx of riders every single year that are looking for bikes of that size. And these people, mass of the time, don't know anything about the brand. So you have this fight of we need to get to them. We need to give them a great experience. And if we are lucky, we will hook them in and send them all the way up through the product line. So it's super interesting because like that's awesome. I think it's hilarious. And CF Moto's fucking that up for them so bad. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with what Pat said earlier. Like, I think Honda's going to have to respond in some way to either bring that cost down or bring the weight down or something to kind of say, hey, we're in the same ballpark now. I mean, they're still in the same ballpark, but they're kind of on their own level too with
they're not these close of numbers though, Yeah, that's that's a fair point. Like the Hondas and Yamaha as well. Yamaha's in this conversation as well. Like what's going to be your low CC thing? Are you sticking with the R3? And we haven't seen a change in the R3 in a while. So like maybe there's an R It depends how they run it. Is it R4 or R5? It could be the same engine. Who the fuck knows? But it'll be interesting to see what Yamaha in the next couple of years, or I don't have any like behind the scenes information about Yamaha. It'll be super interesting to see what Yamaha does, because the R3 is a fantastic platform. So if you gave that thing a little more power, or bored out the stroke, or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
Spoke
I don't know.
by shortening the connecting rod.
Whatever
So
you
there's
just said.
shorter connecting rods are also cheaper. So they're saving money and giving you a bigger engine.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
So same question as before. Between these two bikes, what are you picking and why?
Only because I've put a few thousand miles on the 450, and I think they knocked it out of the park. Like, so much to the fact that everybody's having to come to them now. Like, that's a pretty strong move. I think the 450 SS is one of the best looking, if not the best looking, beginner bike, like, or low CC sport bike right now. And it sounds fucking great with a Yoshimura pipe on it. So I have literally no reason to not go with the 450 SS. We've done an 8-hour ride day on it, which is something I would not want to do with mini bikes. And it wasn't great, but now I've got a better seat. I've got better rear sets. I've got better
Windshield.
levers. Like, the bike is solid, and I'm very happy with it. And
Yeah.
I'm legitimately going to be sad when we give that bike away with our, giveaway thing. And I think it's a phenomenal bike. And that's coming from somebody that's been riding for over a decade. So if I'm able to have a good time on that bike, and we got some mods that we're about to be putting on it, that's going to make it nuts. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm stoked on that bike. I never liked the 400 over the R3. Like, when years and years ago, we did I called it a beginner bike showdown, I think. But I chose the R3 just because I liked the way it delivered power, and I liked the body position a little more. And I would pick the 450 SS over the R3. So naturally, I'll pick the 450 SS over the Ninja 500.
Yeah.
Same.
Hashtag Ninja 450.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the comparison. So it's pretty interesting. I think, we kind of in both of these situations lean toward the Kawasaki's competitor, but they've made a good move, and I think it's kind of reclaiming some of that market share too.
I will say I am impressed that Kawasaki is offering this bike for the same price. If you mod it out correctly.
Yeah.
Than the CF Moto, because like Kawasaki is 100% taking a hit on that. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, that is not, if the 450 SS did not exist, that is not the price that this bike would be. I would almost promise you that
Closer
bike
to
would be more
6.
expensive.
Yeah.
Which is, so actually, what's actually a perfect thing to look at? Kawasaki is getting the most market share taken from them, and they're having to price this bike like this. Honda is not, and that's what they price that bike with.
And they're
Honda
gonna
is not
and they're
being
gonna
as
keep
reactive.
selling that Honda 500 like a son of a bitch, like they always do.
But is that not interesting? Like, that I believe that the fucking 450 SS is the reason entirely that we see this price differentiation. $2,000. This is a response to a CF Moto 450 SS. Honda either doesn't care or doesn't consider the 450 SS competition with this, and I don't feel like they've made, those like, oh shit, something's happening, we need to change and adjust. That is what this looks like, and I think that price would easily be in the sixes. So all those people that are talking shit about CF Moto, whether you like them or not, doesn't fucking matter. I don't care. I don't work there. But what's
We don't work
fascinating,
there,
and
they do not pay us.
right, what's fascinating though, and it has literally been what I've been saying the entire time CF Moto's been a thing, is whether you like them or not doesn't matter. The shakeup that they're going to cause in the industry is going to benefit every single one of us, and I love it.
So you're getting an updated Ninja now, and it's the exact same cost as the Ninja 400 from last year. The
Uh-huh.
exact same cost.
I mean,
Um,
so what did they say is updated? Because like the bodywork looks exactly the same.
okay,
The
On the Ninja?
exhaust, the wheels are the same. Yeah.
yeah.
The
The other
bodywork's
thing,
not the same.
Are you sure?
it's slightly tweaked. It's a little different. The biggest difference is like with the headlight, to where it really has kind of more of that ZX
It does. The
type of.
headlight looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've changed the ergonomics a little bit, and I think there's kind of an option for like a rear seat cowl or something like that. There's different of the special editions now too, which
I'm just gonna scroll through all the
yeah,
models that
but
the Kawasaki's offering.
the base model also has like a full LCD screen, where before they kind of had like a analog and kind of
Yeah.
LCD.
Yeah. The
Uh,
Cowie's got LCD while the CF Moto's got a TFT.
yeah, and if you go with the special edition Ninja, then you get like the TFT, you get like a keyless start, and that's where the frame sliders come included. So it may be worth looking at the special edition here in a minute. But
So kind of what I'm hearing is that the bike that actually competes with the CF Moto is the special edition.
probably,
Like that,
I
I
mean,
think that's really what it is because that's got the full LED lighting. It's got a USB outlet. It's got the sliders. I think the SE is what's actually competing with the CF Moto and
yeah.
is $1,000 more expensive.
Well, and that can be known to us who are looking at all the details. But to Chase's point of like new riders, they see, oh, Ninja 500
Oh,
is
agreed. Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
lower cost, and so that's the marketing of it, which is what business does. So,
Oh,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
I agree. The SE is like that's going to be around 6,400 or so with all of that, and which once you consider that, that's not terrible from a big
No, it's
name
really
like
not.
Kawasaki. Um,
I do think
you
it's
know,
interesting that they're not upcharging for their KRT edition, which is their like fancy green graphics. It comes in at 6,399, the same
yeah,
price as the just regular Ninja 500.
yeah.
But they do, correct me if I'm wrong, they do upcharge it as it pertains to that colorway is badass. That's the 40th anniversary colorway is
This
cool.
one's $200 on top of the
Yeah.
SE model, which totally
But
makes sense. They have that exact same model in the ZX10, and it is a pretty looking bike.
Hmm.
but there's a
You
KRT
know,
edition of the base, correct?
Yeah, you
yes.
can get
And
that
it's
too.
it's what, $200, $100?
Yeah, 200.
Yeah,
Yep.
$200. Yeah.
So,
So I
Interesting.
mean, I like that it's a minimal difference if you want the special bodywork.
hmm
Ghost, the more I look at it, the more I'm just kind of accepting that in the marketing department at Kawasaki, they were probably like, it's closer to a 500. We used to have a Ninja 500 in the day back when it was Ninja 250, 500, whatever the fuck.
yeah,
So it's kind of one of those things. I could see it being one of those things where like, hey, this is a model we used to have, and now we've got the
it's a
updated,
legacy
like
name.
freshest thing. Yeah, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying now, and I'm more on board with understanding
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I do still think the primary reason is because 500 be more than 450, but
Marketing.
um, marketing, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do
Yeah,
agree.
so
Bo's in chat. He said, my guess is CF Moto's not on Honda's radar purely because no matter what CF Moto does, they're never going to have the same rep for reliability and heritage as Honda. That's just true. Honda's been doing it for
I think
100 fucking
Honda has
years.
the best name in the sport bike Japanese segment for reliability, like even over Yamaha. So
hmm
I feel like Honda is really the only company that can really if you rest on a name, I guess we could say.
yeah,
Agreed. And I think he
But that's
also,
physicality though. Like those things
yeah.
fucking run.
Oh yeah. And he mentions the Cowie should be worried, and they should, because they're building a bike that's on paper not as good as the CF Moto.
Well, it's not even a shit thing. We are literally seeing Kawasaki play a marketing trump card to see if they can desperately hold on to the market share that is underneath them right now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like that's the whole reason that this bike can come in at 5299 with a bigger number in the name than the 450. Obviously, if you pay 5299, you are not getting a comparable motorcycle to the Ninja or to the CF Moto 450 SS. But people don't fucking know that, you know?
Yeah.
But ultimately, what it does is it helps the consumer. Competition, man.
If anything, we're
So-
getting bikes for cheaper, so like good for us.
Yep.
Okay. Moving right along.
Yeah.
Do I have anything else to share on the screen, Ghost, or should I close it down?
You can close it down, and I'll.
We got
get us
what?
over-
Quick shifter still?
We do have quick shifter still, so
And
That's
the ghost
so
tip is
interesting.
we may just have to hit those back to back. So
Let's do it.
let me
Let's
run
do
that
it.
real quick.
Welcome to the quick shifter. Quick shifter time. Let's go.
Chill.
Pat's just not even trying the camera right now. So
No, my literally my internet can't do it.
oh, that's funny. All right, so let's go ahead and hit these things here.
Fucked right now. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the maintenance guy came by and we're gonna hardline later.
Okay, cool. During the month of May, if you buy a new gas dirt bike, you get a free e-bike bicycle that has a value of like $3,500. So that's a crazy promotion going on.
I saw that. I think if you buy one of their high-end models, you get 2 of them. Like, there's a bunch of different models of their e-bike you can pick from.
The amount of emails I get on a daily basis from e-bike companies wanting me to do a ride and a review on them is disgusting. So I'm imagining the prices to make e-bikes is in the fucking pits. So people are just trying to give those bitches away because there are so many companies in China making them. Cool promotion, though.
Cool promotion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
BMW is following in the footsteps of Honda and has a prototype for an automated shift assistant similar to DCT or e-clutch, which can allow for manual or auto shifting.
I did see that. They now have a DCT, basically.
Similar to it being used in the Africa Twin, I think that's fascinating because if you put that in a GS for people that are doing crazy off-road stuff, that could actually be helpful. But I mean, you're going to run into the same issues with DCT of like a rider that understands what they're doing is more valuable than a DCT. So you'll have that weird thing of like it'll be good for some people and not the others.
I think DCTs are great for street use. I don't think they're great off-road.
Thanks, videoless Pat.
Dog, the voice from the ether.
All right. MIT is continuing to work on a hydrogen fuel cell motorcycle to illustrate to companies that it is a viable alternative fuel.
Honda and Cowie have already done it. You're late to the party, MIT.
Well, I think they're probably trying to do it in like a small form factor rather than like, Kawasaki has that big hydrogen prototype with those huge
Yeah,
fuel
it's
tanks.
massive.
It's so dorky, but I mean, hey, more work on it, finding ways to do it efficiently.
Is hydrogen like a liquid? So you can. Is the idea to swap out gasoline with hydrogen and you do the same fill up process as you would with?
It's compressed hydrogen, so it works like a compressed natural gas or something. Like
Well, I
your
mean, like
propane tank through
physically
your
though,
grill.
would a user use it like a gas pump?
I mean, yeah, you'd basically like you'd hook up to it just like you would like a. There's a couple cars that use compressed natural gas.
Okay, I'm just wondering from a user perspective, like would that,
Yeah.
like, what's the reason for going hydrogen instead of electric? But anyway,
You can.
that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, hydrogen is theoretically unlimited. Sorry. The lag is real on my side, man.
All right, KTM and CF Moto look to be teaming up again, this time for an 800cc dual sport motorcycle. Not a surprise on the collaboration, but 800cc's for a dual sport, is that too much?
I mean, yeah, an 800cc dual sport, so a super
Yes.
moto thing. That's you're fucking around with some shit that'll get you hurt. Personally, but I mean, I've seen dudes handle them, so power to you. I don't think there's a huge market for that much power in a dual sport. Anyway, what do you think, Ghost?
Big boy, maybe too much. So
Yeah, Pat.
I didn't hear any of it because my shit's fucked.
Cool. Well, that's the end of the quick shifter. So go back and
Perfect.
watch the stream, Pat, and maybe you can leave a comment.
Yeah, Pat, leave a comment down below.
KTM
Uh,
CF Moto teaming. Oh, on an 800cc dual sport. Yeah, well, KTM's trying to tell everybody that that a 790 Adventure is a glorified dual sport. That's just horseshit.
Actually, to be fair, KTM's Supermoto ADV thing fucking slaps. So
Oh, it's great, but it's not a dual sport.
that's true. That's true. It's close though.
Is it?
I think so.
A dual
Right.
sport, in my opinion, is a barely street legal dirt bike. It is the closest thing you're going to get to, like, a dual sport is designed for you to go from trail to trail barely legally just because you have to.
Okay, does can confirm not a dual sport. Can
Yeah.
confirm.
all right. Shall we just go right to the tip of the week?
Just
We
the tip,
should just go straight to the tip.
just to
Are
see
you-
how it feels.
Are you?
I didn't say it. All right, let me get my screen going.
Let me
Hold your butts.
let me get the thing.
It's my favorite time of the
Ghost tip of the
Finally,
week.
time for the
wait.
ghost tip of the week.
Yay! That was great.
Ghost tip of the week. This is sponsored by Ghost on Two Wheels over on Instagram, of course. Speaking of tips,
Go.
A ghost tip of the week, sponsored by Ghost on Two Wheels over on Instagram. People come into your life for a reason. Sometimes that reason is to make you enjoy being alone. So
Yeah.
true. So true.
Love it. Love it.
That's a fantastic tip.
I've seen that. That's like
That
sometimes
is
the
a
reason is to
solid
remind you that
tip.
People suck.
I
love it.
That's a fantastic tip.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of one. I don't know if I'd used it before.
I
but
thought
it
you were
was-
gonna say that reminds me of my relationship with Chase.
well, that,
Well,
but there's one I think I may have used where it said, some people are like clouds. Your day gets brighter when they go away. There's your bonus tip.
double tip of the
Savage, and I love it. Oh my god, that's so great. Yeah, people come into your life for a reason. Sometimes that reason is to make you enjoy being alone. God.
Oh, good times.
This is where I want to ask you, where do you get your tips? But I don't want you to give out your secrets. Uh
It's
oh.
just
The
what?
people can't hear shit, Ghost. The people can't hear shit.
Why can't they hear us?
Oh no. Oh no.
You're the producer. You tell us.
Oh no. Oh.
I might be spectral this week, but you're still the producer.
Okay, how about now? What is it must be something with the scenes. Awesome. I get something to review. You still want to share your screen, Chase?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I guess. I don't know. I have nothing to share.
Well, I
What
guess
if I did
as
the whole show like this with just my eyes right at the bottom? Hold on. Where should I go? Should my eyes be over here? I can't do this. This is too fun. Anyway, sorry,
it
Ghost.
may have been the audio with the music was too loud. So anyway, so to wrap up the conversation, I mean, what do you think overall about this move, and what does that do to the beginner segment now that Kawasaki's lowest CC bike, other than its like mini moto, is
Right.
a 450 500 rather than what used to be 250 back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super interesting conversation. Probably better for a whole show of, what is the beginner bike segment and how far does beginner bike go before it no longer beginner? You know what I mean? We can't keep playing this game of like, well, we're putting 450 out because you put a 4 or no, here's our 250. Well, we're doing a 300. Well, we're doing a 400. Well, we're going to put out a 450. Well, we're going to make ours say 500. Like, where are we going? We're going to
Yeah.
go to 650 and then like, do we start over at 1? Like, what's happening? So that's a whole nother conversation. I think at the end of the day, the main takeaway from all of this is we as the consumer are fucking slaying right now because we have a company that is very hungry to get market share, so they offer their bikes at a phenomenal value for low cost. That fucks the industry and makes them not be able to make as much money on their bikes if they want to respond. So they have to drop their prices while maintaining their quality, which is what they're known for. So we get more bikes with cheaper cost. Like we're winning hardcore as the consumer. And this is what I've been saying for a while. I'm fascinated when a new company comes into like an old space where everybody's just kind of like, oh no, it's fine. We'll make menial differences every year, and then
Well,
boom, this comes out. They're like, fuck.
yeah, they're kind of like I guess what's the term? Like a grenade thrower. Like they're just throwing
Yeah.
something in and just stirring things up and unsettling people and companies to do something different. And like you said, it's the benefit for us.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm even more interested to continue to watch because, like, bro, there's CF Moto's got all this cool shit that they're talking about coming out with, and they're showing off, and you've got other companies like Moto Marini that their product line that they're showing off looks fantastic, and the price is great. So, if these new companies coming in the space are able to actually make great bikes and offer them for the cost that we're seeing, then I think the motorcycle industry, like as far as what motorcycles are in the market, is going to be really interesting to watch in like 4 years.
mhm.
Like once they have time to like really become a player, because like I don't think anybody like a lot of people don't like CF Moto because of like the Chinese association and shit, which is fine. Like it is what it is, but I don't think anybody can argue with the fact that like they are a player in the big kid pool now. Like nobody can argue that. You know what I mean?
And they got there fast.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
like, a year ago, everybody's like, who's this fucking CF Motor shit? Oh, they're Chinese bikes. Blah, blah, blah. But now they're in the market. You got OEM, you've got aftermarket companies like Yoshi and like TST, like making parts for these bikes, which is a way of accepting them into the space, kind of. Like a company's not going
Mhm.
to spend the money on R&D to make parts for a bike that they don't think are going to sell. That there's no business sense there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I've never seen a motorcycle company go from like, who the hell are you, to, oh, you're those guys, like that fast. So, let's give them a couple years. One, we get to see how their growth trajectory changes. Like, do they keep staying really low priced, or do they eventually, once they have market share, do they start bringing their prices up to give themselves some margin, to make more money on the bikes? And how does the industry respond long term? I think it's going to be fascinating. I'm going to sit back and eat my popcorn and watch it go.
I think the aftermarket area is kind of a key indicator of how
Yep.
successful a company is. And if the aftermarket companies start adopting them more and more, then I think more people are saying, okay, they're here to stay. So,
Yeah.
but okay.
Sweet. That was cool. That was a good
Well,
episode, Ghost. I appreciate you put all that info together, and I feel like I have a
yeah.
much better understanding of that space now.
Hmm.
And I think it's really cool to have conversations like this based on the numbers and being able to break them down and all that. So I really appreciate all the research.
Yeah. That was a good conversation. Again, sincere apologies about the audio. I, I was having to put some things back together. So I can vouch for every time in the past when it was in studio and it was always, oh, shit show. I get it, because like you're having to plug things in. Is this audio source the one? So my apologies. I'll work on that. But hey, so next week, Thursday, it'll be after MTO9 embargo time, and we can chat that. So
I can give my official opinions of the MTO9 on Thursday, and let me
are,
confirm so I don't say the wrong thing. But the video will be coming out, I believe, on Wednesday. Yeah, so our MTO9 press launch video for the 2024 one, it will come out on Wednesday, and then we'll have the live show on Thursday, and we can kind of dive deeper into how the bike is. Obviously, we'll hit a lot of that on the press launch, but man, press launches are so fucking chaotic that
mhm.
I try to take my press launches where I just take everybody with me. So it'll be cool to be able to sit down and have questions about it. So maybe we can make a community post, and you guys can ask us questions, and then I can answer them on the live show, because obviously the sooner I answer the questions from when I did the press launch, the better, because I'm fresh off the bike. So that'll be that we can do that next week.
Awesome. All right, Pat, you got anything?
Not that's gonna lag like hell. So you guys have a great week.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah,
All right.
buddy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.